All right, let's dive right in. Today we're talking about a make-or-break moment in any guest stay, the welcome kit. Now this is so much more than just a folder with some papers in it. Think of it as the very first handshake, the first tangible promise you make to a guest that you've got everything under control and they're in for a fantastic stay. So let's break down how to get this essential procedure right every single time.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the why. Why that first impression is so critical. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty, the prep work, putting it all together, adding those special touches, and the all-important final check. And we'll wrap up with how to have it all perfectly lined up for the moment your guest arrives.
Okay, so let's set the stage. Why all this fuss over a little package of documents? Well, because in this business, that first impression, it isn't just a nice to have, it's literally everything. And you can see how all of these points just click together, right? A slick, well-prepared kit immediately screams professionalism and attention to detail. It makes your guests feel like you are actually expecting them, that you value them, and here's the best part. It cuts down on all those little questions at the front desk, which makes the whole check-in process way smoother and faster for everybody. It is a total win-win. All right, time to get practical. A perfect welcome kit doesn't just appear out of thin air. Nope, it's all about the meticulous prep work you do behind the scenes. This is where you set yourself and your team up for a win. Let's walk through this. First up, the absolute basics, your supplies. A clean, crisp folder says a whole lot more than a tired, stained one. It just does. Second, you gotta review your arrivals. Match those room assignments to what the guest actually booked. Is this a VIP, a repeat guest, part of a big group with special needs? This is where you catch all that. And finally, just pre-printing that registration card, it's such a simple thing, but it saves so much time when that guest is standing right there in front of you. Think of it like building a house. These first steps are your foundation. If your materials are clean and your info is 100% accurate, that foundation is rock solid. Everything else you build on top of it is going to be stable. Get this part right, and you've already dodged a dozen potential headaches down the line.
Okay, our foundation is set. Now it's time to start gathering the key ingredients. These are the absolute non-negotiable items that need to be in every single welcome kit. So listen, each one of these has a specific job to do. The welcome letter is your personal hello. The key cards, well, they're the keys to the kingdom, and they have to be clean and, more importantly, encoded correctly. Any vouchers or coupons are you delivering on the package they paid for. And those little extras, like maps, that just shows you're thinking about their whole trip, not just their room. Let's just pause on that welcome letter for a second because this is such a powerful tool. Here's a pro tip. Always consider the guest's nationality and their native language. This isn't just about saying welcome. It's about saying, hey, we see you, we know where you're from, and we're making an effort for you. That tiny detail can turn a generic piece of paper into a really memorable, personal touch.
Building right on that idea of personalization, let's talk about how to take your welcome kit from good to great. See, a good kit is standard. A great kit is customized. Here's a perfect everyday example. Standard room, one guest, they need one key. Easy. But a family in a suite or connecting rooms, they're going to need at least 2 sets of keys. Thinking about that ahead of time shows you're on the ball. It stops the guest from having to immediately turn around and ask for another key. You've literally solved their problem before they even knew they had one. And that's really what it all boils down to, isn't it? Every single thing in that kit, from having the right number of keys to a welcome letter in their own language, it's all sending one clear message. It's a quiet, professional way of saying, your arrival is not a surprise. We were ready for you. We've been expecting you.
Okay, now we're at what is, without a doubt, the most critical part of this whole process. You've done the prep, you've gathered everything now, you double-check, you verify. This is your quality control. This is the zero-error rule.
So let's run through this checklist together. You're going to have the property management system open, and you're going to cross-reference everything. Is the room allocated the exact one they booked? Are those keys programmed for that specific room, for the right number of nights, for the right number of people? Do the meal coupons match their package exactly? And then, a final visual sweep. Is everything clean? Is it assembled neatly? This last systematic check is absolutely non-negotiable. This is what catches the tiny mistakes that can turn into huge guest frustrations.
All right, our welcome kit is prepped, it's personalized, it's been double-checked for accuracy. Now for the final act, setting the stage for a totally seamless delivery when the guest finally walks through that door.
This is all about being smart and efficient. Once you've put the kits together, don't just throw them in a random pile. Arranging them by the expected arrival time means that when a guest walks in, you can grab their kit instantly. There's no fumbling, no frantic searching. It keeps that smooth, professional vibe going right up until the final moment you hand it over.
So when you boil it all down, mastering the welcome kit really comes down to these 4 things. It's about sweating the small stuff, like making sure a folder is clean. It's about making every guest feel like an individual. It's about being obsessed with accuracy. And maybe, most importantly, it's about doing this every single time for every single guest. That consistency is what separates good service from truly great hospitality.
And that pretty much wraps it up. The process itself is straightforward, but the impact it has is just massive. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Looking at everything we've covered, what's the one thing you're going to focus on to make your very next guest's arrival not just smooth but truly unforgettable?